Let's go, bud.
Calm down.
Hurry up. Put your beanie on.
Hasn't Chico checking in, IGP3 obedience.
Only one more house reporting in, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, guys, so we're here at the practice field in the mountains of Slovenia somewhere. I'm about to do obedience in about an hour and a half. So we just came here to do some last minute fine tuning. You know, I really didn't want to do obedience first. I felt like there was still some more fine tuning to do on the dog, but it is what it is. And as you can hear or maybe see, the wind is really high today. So hopefully it's not so high in the stadium. Either way, not gonna lie, this is our most iffy phase. Sometimes it can be really good, sometimes not so good, but I have high hopes. I think we're gonna do some good things out there. And my goal here, I'll be very happy if I get 90 and above in obedience, because that'll put me in a very strong position in the championship. I'll see you guys out there in the stadium. All right, guys, so going up for obedience. This is the first phase of the WUSV. I'm here with team captain, Dominic Scarberry. He's been very helpful. We'll see how it goes. This is the most iffy phase. So if it goes well, very strong position for the championship. If it doesn't go well, it is what it is. Here we are.
I'm a big believer in whatever the dog did the last time before they go in, they would do it again.
So I get on the field for obedience. Chico feels relatively tight. I'm really regretting something. I trained Chico earlier in the day. I knew better than that. I had already said the last time we trialed, I should never train Chico on the same day as obedience. But my problem with Chico is that he's a little bit of a bipolar dog in the sense that in training, he's so highly aroused at all times in the training that he makes mistakes that a really highly aroused dog would make. But then in the trial, he always goes down. And like the actual trial, he always goes down a couple of gears. What I see every day is this dog that is highly aroused. So that's the reality that I live with. And it's hard to kind of accept that the dog that I see just a few times a year when I actually compete is not at that same level. Even though I had said to myself, hey, I will never train this dog again on the same day as obedience. I went and I trained the dog the same day, but I justified it. I said, it's cold, so he's gonna be really full of energy. We get to the stadium, sun is shining, I have a long down first, my dog is lying for 10 minutes in the sun before I even start. By the time I finish my healing pattern, he's already tired. I can hear it, I can feel it, he's lagging a little bit, he's not where he needs to be in order to be in a state of full power. Positions are okay, nothing to write home about. He's a little bit off. My handling in the positions, you guys won't notice it. Everything will look very intentional, but I was actually giving him the signals on the wrong foot, so he was a little loosey-goosey there, very looky. Chico's definitely a dog that knows when he's in a different stadium, and he's looking all over the place, which is hurting me, not helping me. We get to the dumbbells. Dumbbells are actually fairly decent, some small mistakes, but nothing major. And then the big one, the send out.
Everything looks great until the fucking send out.
I had a training problem with the send out. I kind of rolled the dice on it. I said, you know, it might be fixed, it might not be fixed. The problem with him is he's very contextual with when he will go and when he will not go. In training, if he's full of energy, if he's full of drive and power, he goes 9 times out of 10. It's when he's tired, it's when he's gone through the entire routine, especially if he hasn't had any reinforcement through the routine, that's when he's a little iffy about going. The problem is I can only do that so much in training because I'm gonna start destroying other parts of my routine if I do that. I send him, he doesn't go right away, but then he starts going, so I breathe a sigh of relief until he cuts off to the right towards the long down stakes. I down him, and I know at that point I'm out of the championship. There's no possibility of a podium with that level of mistake at this level. We get 81 points. I thought the judge was actually more than fair with that. I thought maybe I had a gift there, probably because I'm sexy and handsome, and so that's probably why I got a few extra points.
Now, when I look back about it, 81 is not bad at all.
Now I'm in the mindset of, okay, you know, I'm out of the podium contention, but maybe if I V the next 2 phases, which is quite possible based on my dog's previous performance, maybe I'll squeak into the top 10 if enough other people have bad days. Well, didn't go very well. Went out there and pretty much ate a dick. I keep saying it, I always say it. I should never work the dog on the same day as obedience. I should never practice with him. And I think that practice was a big mistake, but we knew the send out was a problem, and we've been trying all sorts of different things to try and make it reliable, but I really hate losing, and that's just what happened. I didn't come here to fucking show up. I didn't come here to just enjoy the show. I came here for the podium. What happened out there today is unfortunately going to cost me the podium. We knew it could happen. Obedience has always been his iffiest phase, and sometimes he's really good and sometimes he's not. I think there's some things I would have changed in the prep, but too little, too late. When shit goes south, a lot of handlers give up, a lot of handlers cry, a lot of handlers complain and try to walk it back. At the end of the day, you just eat it and move forward and try to make the other two phases really memorable. I want excellent results in the next two phases, and maybe if I can do that, I'll still have an opportunity at the top 10. So I guess that's what I'm going to be hoping for.
Oh, congrats on 81 today, little buddy.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. If you ever fucking congratulate me for anything less than a 90, I want you to know, even if I'm too polite to say it, in my head I'm thinking, go fuck yourself. That's a loser mindset. We're not just happy to be here. We're here to do excellent things. We're here to fucking show optimized performance. And when anything less than that happens, it is unacceptable. Never fucking congratulate me for anything less than SG 90.
Congrats.
Go fuck yourself. So going out to the tracking field, very interesting location. We're driving up through mountains, literally. We're driving up into the mountains, and these tracking fields are all up and down in the mountains. They're like little fields sectioned off on different parcels of property. Contrary to popular belief, our understanding was that the tracks were going to be relatively short and pretty kicked in on decent hay, and that's literally what we trained for. Needless to say, that was a big mistake. These tracks were long, 600 to 800 paces. They said 600. I saw some tracks that I counted closer to 7, 8. They were all over the place. They didn't have a lot of consistency to them. The grass quality wasn't so good, and the track layers were definitely not kicking them in. The ones that I saw anyways. Doesn't matter though. You're at a championship, and you need to be ready for everything. I take Chico to the start flag. Right away, when I send him to the track, I know there's a problem. When he sniffs up and down that flag, and then starts trotting down the track with his nose up and checking all over the place, I already know my V-score is gone. I thought maybe when he gets to the first article, things are gonna get better. So he does get to the first article, very loose. I said, okay, maybe now he'll kind of improve because he'll be like hopeful. He's found the first article. Unfortunately, not the case. It just got progressively worse as we went. Found the second article, and finally he lost the track at the third corner, overshot it too far, was never able to recover it. That's it for us. We failed tracking. It's been a long time since I failed a phase in an IGP trial. To do so at this level is very disheartening. I am angry at myself. I'm demoralized. I'm very, very unhappy at this point because not only has my chance at the podium disappeared into the ether, but my chance at even a top 10 finish, much less any kind of respectable finish, is now gone. My dog has failed tracking. I still have to do protection because that's the way it works. I'm not disqualified, but definitely not at all something I ever thought would happen. I thought the days of me failing on tracks were long gone. That being said, you know, there's something to learn from all of this. We hear about it all the time. This and this champion, this and this famous IGP persona goes out and their dog only tracks 20 points. Their dog only tracks 5 points, and they fail right off the start. Happens to everybody at some point. Just for me, in this trial, at this level, in this moment, with the hopes that I had, it's a heartbreaker, not gonna lie.
The moment he sniffed the flag, I had no hope. The moment he did that, I knew game over. Of course, deep down, you want to see him recover, but I knew right at the start, it's done.
Despite the debacle on the tracking field, Ann has obedience. Ann wants to work his dog before obedience. I tell him not to work his dog. In Canada, when I've watched the dog trial, I've always felt like he was missing something in the last couple of trials in obedience. Ann listens to me and agrees that he won't work his dog before obedience. That was a mistake.
Last year, when I come off the field in Meppen, I had a plan. And that is, this dog needs to be trained a lot before he goes in for obedience, especially when the weather is cold. But after, you know, the disaster on the track with Chico, we didn't feel like doing anything, so I just took my chance and go straight in.
The dog that we saw in this trial was way more amped than the dog that I've seen in Canada. And I think the temperature probably has a lot to do with it. You know, in Canada, when we've trialed, it's been relatively warm, relatively hot. At this trial, it's quite chilly.
The moment I start heeling him towards the judge, I knew game over.
And his dog is vocal, his dog is jumping, his dog is out of control.
I knew he would hit the jump even before I get to the dumbbell stand.
Unfortunately, he hits the hurdle, 10 points gone. He is in the 75 for obedience. It's starting to look like a full-scale disaster here for Team Full Power. And goes up for protection. We're hopeful. Bond has been showing really well in the last couple of trials. He's usually in the SG or V category in his protection. Everything starts really well. Super blind search.
Blind search was, to me, excellent. You know, like I had so much faith in him, and he did just what I expected it. No trial practice, run blinds like a champ, come in, even in the bark and hold when he get a bit low at the end, anticipating the call out.
Really nice bark and hold.
I anticipated all that, except the side transport. It cost us a lot.
In the first side transport, you see Bond leave and go next to the helper. At this level, critical error. Repeated commands to get the dog back with him, and that pretty much costs him the SG and definitely the V category that he may have accomplished if the dog had been perfect in the control. There's a few minor mistakes moving forward from there, but other than that, it was actually a pretty good showing for Bond.
Overall, I'm extremely happy with the dog. He showed himself.
Only 86 points, and that pretty much puts Ann out of contention for the podium as well. So we have two broken hearts right now. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that nobody cares. Nobody cares the way you care. When things go south, the difference between a forgettable handler and a great handler, the difference between someone that's going to accomplish something and someone that's never going to accomplish anything, is the level of bitch that is within you. And when things go south, that's when you find out what you're truly made of. So for me, the trial's over. Things have gone horrific up to this point. I want to at least rescue one decent phase from this. Protection, this is our faith. This is Chico's bread and butter. This is where we make V's consistently. This is where we put on a show consistently. And so my mindset was to go out there and do that with Chico. Turns out Chico had other plans though.
Chico went in early. I was shaking. It was really, really cold.
So we get out there. The biggest thing I was actually worried about was that Chico was going to skip a blind and run straight to 6, because he's been known to do that in training. He didn't do that. He ran 6 blinds, gets into the hot blind, barking like a motherfucker like he always does, shaking the stadium. Things are going good. Judge calls me up. I start to approach the blind. Right when I'm about to the blind, guess who pops out of the blind? Mr. Chico.
Then all of a sudden, he just come out of the blind like, you know, I'd never seen him doing this before.
Kind of pops out of the blind, looks at me, goes back in the blind, resumes barking powerfully. So I go back behind him. I already know we're screwed at this point. There's no possibility of a V, much less an SG. And I go to recall Chico. In the recall, instead of coming back to me, Chico hammers the helper. Second recall required, he comes back to me.
Technically, it took him out of even the SG category.
At that point, I thought, oh, this is going to be a complete debacle. It already was, don't get me wrong, but you're in the moment, you just go with it. It's like, yeah, this is what's happening. Stupid dog decided to do stupid things, but here we are. Let's make the best of it. Continue on through the routine, and surprisingly, he tightens up.
He performed the rest extremely well, though. It's still that same dog that we saw at the national and the regional.
There was some minor mistakes, like he wouldn't sit out of a back transport. I don't think he would sit. And then the long attack, he completely refused to sit, but everything else was there. So he did show the crowd some of his power. Unfortunately, those mistakes were enormous. The mistakes in the blind, extremely costly. I think roughly 15 points were lost there. The judge did comment, you know, right away, this is a strong dog, this is a dominant dog, but too many mistakes. 82 points, and we're done. WUSV 2025 Slovenia is over, and it was a complete dumpster fire from beginning to end.
No gala for the boys.
Last phase for Ann. Again, he's already out of the trial. I'm out of the trial. It's tracking time. His dog starts tracking. Things are looking pretty good.
First leg was excellent. I feel really good about it. But we start climbing uphill. When we got uphill, everything changed. The condition extremely difficult.
Unfortunately, as the track progresses, the dog makes a few critical mistakes. The good news is Bond worked his ass off and he finished the track.
Thank God is that after I fell last year tracking, I've been challenging him in extremely difficult terrain. I taught him how to solve the problem and then to fight the track when he lost it, and he made it through. But of course we didn't have the score that we wanted. But the very good thing about the dog is that the last part of the track, he was just as good as the beginning.
That being said, he missed an article, lost the track a couple times, final score 77 points. That's pretty much par for the course for our team in this World Championship. Our dogs underperformed. We as handlers underperformed, and it's time to take full accountability, go back to the drawing board, and come back stronger next year.
Not only that, tire tracks everywhere. It's like somebody had like a 4x4 race up there. That's why he missed the second article. Yeah. And then when he get here, it back to more consistent again, and he walked perfect all the way to the end. Fuck, man. And it's fucking long. He kept the perfect speed throughout. Yeah.
For me, protection was a killer. I mean, the other two phases were bad. When things went south in protection, I'm used to having a problem maybe in one phase. But when you have a problem across all three phases, I can't remember the last trial that I've had 3 bad phases in. This is the first time in like 7 years that I've had 3 bad phases in a row. And for it to happen on this level, very problematic for me. And problematic in the sense that it's unacceptable. Who's at fault? This is who is at fault. I allowed my dog's success at the Ontario Regional, at the Canadian National, to lull me into a false sense of security. And I did not rigorously pressure the training the way I should have. Thinking back now, there was too much help in my training. There was too much worrying about the stylistic level of the training and making sure that the dog always looked his best, instead of saying, this dog needs to just be able to get through this reliably. I thought I was doing enough of that. Looking back, I realized I was not. The proof is in the pudding.
Sometimes you get a 97, 98, 96 at the national and you think that you're enough. You're not. This is the whole different level. This is something for us to remember, and that is when we have like excellent scores at the regional and national, we have to keep thinking about how difficult it is at the WSV. This should be the only goals for us to train for.
What we also need to do when we do something like this is we need to look back on what went well. Because despite the fact that this trial was a dumpster fire from beginning to end, there were some good moments. There were some things in the training that I did actually see manifest on the field. So I'm definitely going to take those positive things and try to further enhance them. And then I'm going to look at all the things that went wrong, and believe me, there are many. And we're going to try and make sure that those things don't happen again. It's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get up. Every success is built on dozens of failures, both minor and major. Now, this happens to be a major failure in my books for me. Again, it's important to remember nobody cares, right? Nobody cares as much as you do. But for me, it's a major failure. Not happy with it.
That's it. There will always be next year. To the people who think they could have done a better job than we did at this WSV, they should start with beating us at the national to get their spots here.
I'm in a little bit of a unique position here as a handler. A lot of handlers, big names, names that everybody knows, go through failures and they never really share those failures at large. Yeah, people that were in the competition, people that are in this world know about it, but let's say the broad public at large does not. In doing this type of documentary, I know that it's just as important to share the failures as it is to share the victories. You guys have watched me win. You guys have watched me lose. You guys are now watching me lose again. Your success as a handler will be determined by how you lose. Do you take that loss like a little bitch? Do you cry? Do you blame someone else? Do you blame the dog? Or do you blame yourself, take accountability, skill up, change what you're doing, and improve and come back stronger the next time. So far, I've been able to do that with every defeat. Last year, our World Championship ended in success with a top 10 finish that we weren't even expecting with Gage, followed by an Ontario Regional Championship podium, followed by a Canadian Nationals podium, and leading all the way up into here where unfortunately we didn't get anything close to that result. All that being said, this is dog sport. This is why we love it. Without the lows, there are no highs. If you don't go through this, you're not going to be able to enjoy the moment when it comes. And I have no doubt that if we continue to work the way that we're working, it will come. That being said, we'll be thankful for how the season went. We had 2 podiums. A lot of things had to go right for us to get those podiums. Unfortunately, we didn't get the big one, the one that we really wanted, but there's always next year. And you will see myself and Team Full Power back with lessons learned. And maybe we'll be back with the same dogs, or maybe we'll be back with some different ones. You'll have to wait and see.